今天的开幕式由中国国际进口博览会筹委会主任委员、中华人民共和国国务院副总理胡春华先生主持。掌声有请胡春华副总理。Please join me in inviting Vice Premier Hu Chunhua of the State Council of the People's Republic of China, also the chairman of the CIIE Preparatory Committee, to moderate the opening ceremony.
尊敬的习近平主席，尊敬的各位国家元首、政府首脑、王室代表，
Your Royal Highness,
尊敬的各位国际组
Your
织负责
Excellencies,
人，
heads of international
尊敬的
organizations,
各代表团
and
团长，
heads of delegations,
各位嘉宾、
distinguished
女士们、
guests,
先生
ladies
们、
and gentlemen,
朋友们，
friends,
上午好！
good morning.
欢迎大家出
Welcome
席
to
首
the
届
opening ceremony
中国
of the
国
first
际进口
China
博览会
International Import
及
Expo
虹桥国
and
际
Hongqiao International Economic and Trade Forum.
举办中国国际进口博览
The
会
CIIE
是习近平主席
is
亲自
an
谋划、
initiative
亲
by
自提出、
President Xi
亲自
Jinping.
部署推动的，是中国主动
It is a
向世
major
界
policy
开放市
statement
场
and
的
action
重
taken
大
by
政
China
策
to
宣示
open up
和
its
行动，
market to the world.
彰显了新时代
It
中国进一
demonstrates
步
China's
扩大
resolve
开放
and
的决心
confidence
和信心，
about further
为
opening
经济全球化
up
注
in a
入
new
了
era
新的能量。
to inject fresh
进
impetus
口
to
博览会过
economic
程中，
globalization.
得到了
In the run-up
国际社会的
To
热
the
烈响
Expo,
应
we
和
have
积极支
received
持，
warm
我们
response
对
and
此
active
表
support from the
示
international
衷心的感
community,
谢。
for which we are really grateful.
本届进口博览会由
The
展会
CIIE
和论
consists
坛
of two parts,
两部分
the
组成。
Expo and the Forum.
展会包括
The Expo
国家贸易
includes
投资
national
综合展
exhibition
和企
and
业商
business
业展，
exhibition.
其中国家贸易投资综合展
Countries will
将展示
showcase
各国的国家
their
形象
national、
发展
profile,
成就
development
和贸易
achievements,
投
and
资领域
latest
的
progress
最新进
in
展。
trade and investment,
企业商业
while
展将
companies
展示
from
来
around
自
the world
全球的
will
优质
present
产
their
品
proud
和服务。
products and services.
进口博览会
During
期间
the
还将举行
CIIE,
虹桥国
there will also
际经
be
贸论
an
坛，
Hongqiao
以及
International
贸易与
Economic
开
and
放
Trade Forum,
贸易
and
与
three
创新
parallel
贸易
sessions on
与投资
trade and openness,
三个平
trade
行论
and
坛，
innovation, and trade
来
and
自全球
investment.
的政界、工商界、学术
Political,
界精英
business, and
出席论坛，
academic
并将
leaders
就
from
激
around the
发
world will
全
attend
球
the
贸
forum
易新活力，共创
to
开
have
放共赢新
discussions
格局
surrounding the
这一
theme
主
of
题
spurring
进行
new
深入探
vitality
讨。
of global trade and creating an
首
open
先
and win-win
让我们
scenario.
以热烈的
So
掌
first,
声
I suggest that
有
we
请
give a
中
round
国
of
国家
warm
主
applause
席
to
习
welcome
近平阁
His
下
Excellency
宣
President Xi
布
Jinping
首
onto
届
the
中国国
stage
际进口
to
博览会
announce the
开幕
opening
并
of
发
the
表
first
主旨演讲。
CIIE and Hongqiao International Economic Trade Forum and deliver a keynote speech.
尊敬的各位国家元首、
Your Excellencies, heads of
政府首脑、
state and government,
王室代表，
Your Royal Highness,
尊敬的各位国际组
Your
织负责人，
Excellencies, heads of international
尊
organizations,
敬的各代表团团
Your
长、
Excellencies, heads of
各位来宾、
delegations, distinguished
女
guests,
士们、
ladies
先
and
生
gentlemen,
们、朋友们。
friends.
2017年5月，
In May 2017,
我宣布，
I
中国
announced
将从
China's
2018年
decision
起举办
to
中国
hold
国际
the
进口
China
博览会。
International Import Expo starting from
经过
2018.
1年多的
Today,
筹备，
after more than 1 year of preparations
在各方大力支持下
and，with the strong support from
现
various
在
parties, the first
首届中国国际进口博览会正
is
式
officially
开幕了。
opened.
首先，
At the outset,
我仅代表中国政
I
府
wish to
和
express
中国人
on
民，
behalf of the government and
并以
people of
我
China,
个人的名义，
and also in my own
对
name,
各位嘉宾的到来
warm
表
welcome
示热烈的欢迎。 对来自五大洲
Sincere
的
greetings
各方朋友
and best wishes
致以诚挚的问候
to friends
和
coming
良
from
好的祝愿。
all over the world.
中国国际进口博览会
The CIIE
是迄今为止
is the
世界上
first
第一个
import expo
以进口
held
为主
at
题的
the national
国家级
level.
展会，是国际贸易发展史
This
上
is indeed an
一大创
innovation
举。
in the history of global trade.
举办中国国际进口博览
It is
会，
an important
是
decision
中国着眼
made by
于
China
推动
to
新一
pursue a
轮
new round
高
of
水平对外
high
开放，
standard opening up.
是中国
It is
主动
also
向世界
China's
开
major
放市场
initiative
的
to still widen
重大举
its
措。
market access for the rest of the world.
这体现了中国支持多边
It
贸易体
demonstrates
制，
China's
推动发展
consistent
自由贸易
position of
的
supporting the
一贯立
multilateral
场，
trading system and promoting free
是
trade.
中国推动建设
It
开
is
放
a
型
concrete action
世界
taken by
经济，
China
支
to
持
advance an open
经
world
济
economy
全球化
and
的
support economic
实际行动。
globalization.
这届进口博览会
Under the theme
以新时代
New Era,
共享未
Shared
来
Future,
为主题，就是
the first
要欢迎各国朋
CIIE
友
will
把握
help
新时代
friends
中国发
from
展机遇，
around the world
深化
to
国际
seize
经
the
贸合作，
opportunities presented by
实现
China's development in the
共
new
同
era and
繁
offer
荣
a platform
进步。
for us to deepen international business cooperation for shared prosperity and progress.
共有172个国家
Attending this event are 172 countries,
3600
regions, and
国家企业参展。
international organizations, more than
展览总面积达到
3,600
了
companies, with a total
30万平方米，
exhibition area of
超过了
300,000 square meters
40万名境内外
and over
采购商到会洽
400,000
谈采购。
Chinese and foreign buyers who are here to
我
explore
衷心
business
的希望
deals.
参会参展的
I
中国朋友
wish
都能
all
够
friends
广
participating in
结
this
良缘
expo
满载
a
而归。
most pleasant and rewarding experience.
女士们、先生们、朋友们，
Ladies and gentlemen, friends,
当今世界正在
the
经历
world
着
is
新一轮
going
大
through
发
a
展
new round of
大
major
变革、大
development,
调整。
transformation, and adjustment.
各国经济社会
The
发展
economic and social
联系日益
well-being
密
of
切，
countries in the world is
全球
increasingly
治理体系和
interconnected.
国际秩
The
序
reform of the global
变革
governance system
加速
and the
进步。
international order is picking up speed.
同时，
On the other
世
hand,
界经济深刻
the world
调整，
economy is going through
保护
profound
主义、单边
adjustment,
主义抬头，
and protectionism and unilateralism
经济
are
全球化
resurging.
遭遇波
Economic
折，
globalization faces
多边主义和
headwinds,
自由贸易体制
and
受
multilateralism
到冲
and the
击，
system of free trade are under
不稳
threat.
定、不确定因素，
Uncertainties and
依然很多。
instabilities still abound,
风险挑战加
and
剧，
risks and challenges are growing.
这就需要我们从纷繁
Living in
复杂
such
的
a complex
局势
world,
中
we
把握规律，
need to see the
认清
underlying
大势，
trend,
坚定开
boast a
放合作
confidence
信
in our
心，
future through opening up
共
in
同应对
cooperation, and work
风险
together
挑
to
战。
cope with risks and challenges.
世界上的有识之士
Around the world,
都认识
people
到
with vision would
经
agree
济全球化是不
that
可逆
economic
转的
globalization
历史大势，
as an irreversible
为
trend
世界
of
经济发展
history
提供了强
has
劲
greatly
动力。
boosted global growth.
说其是历史大势啊，就是其
This
发
is
展
an
是不以人的
overarching
意志
trend, something that is independent of people's will.
人类可以认识顺应
What we mankind can
运用
do is to understand, adapt to, and apply the law of history instead of trying to prevent it from happening.
历史大势
The wheel of
必
history,
将
indeed,
浩荡
will
持续。
keep rolling forward no matter what.
回顾历史，开放合作
History
是增
tells
强
us
国际经贸
that
活力
openness
的
and
重
cooperation
要动力。
are a major driving force behind dynamic
立足当今
international economic and
开放
trade
合作是推动
activities. The current
世界
situation
经济
also
稳定
calls for
复苏的
openness and cooperation
现实
to foster
要求。
steady global recovery.
放眼未来，开放合
Looking
作
ahead,
是促进
openness
人
and
类社会
cooperation will
不断
remain
进步
essential
的
for
时
continued
代要求。
human progress.
大道至简，
A great vision,
实干为要。
simple and pure, requires
面
credible
对世界
actions.
经济格局
Given the
的
profound
深刻变
shifts in
化，
the international
为了
political
共同
and
建设一个更加美
economic
好的世界
landscapes, the vision for
各
a better
国
world for
都应该
all
拿出更大的
calls on
勇气，
countries to act
积极
with
推
greater
动
courage
开放
and
合作，
actively champion
实现
openness and
共同
cooperation
发展。
in order to secure shared development.
各国应该坚持
It is
开放融
important
通，
for all countries
拓展
to
互利
open
合作空
wider
间。
and expand the space for mutually beneficial
开放
cooperation.
带来进步，
Openness brings
封闭
progress,
必然落
while
后。
seclusion leads to backwardness.
国际贸易和投资
Global
等
trade
经贸往
and
来
investment
根植于各
are
国
driven
优势互补
by。the need of countries
互通有
for
无的
mutual
需要。
exchange and complementarity.
纵观国际经贸发
The
展，
history of
深刻
trade
验
and
证了
economic
相
cooperation
通
testifies to the law that economies make progress
的各
together
退的规律。
through exchange and interconnectivity while
各
falling
国削减
behind
壁垒，
because of
扩大
seclusion
开
and
放，
closeness.
国际经贸
Efforts to
就能
reduce
打通
tariff
血脉。
barriers and open wider will lead to
如果以邻为
interconnectivity
壑，
in economic cooperation
孤立
and
封
global
闭，
trade,
国际经
while the
贸
practices of
国际经贸的
beggaring thy
就会
neighbor,
弃
isolation
之
and
血
seclusion
余，
will only result
世
in
界经
trade
济也难以
stagnation
健康
and
发
an
展。
unhealthy world economy.
各国应该坚持开放的政策取向，
Countries need to
旗帜
pursue
鲜
an
明反对
open
保护主
policy,
义、单边主义，
explicitly oppose
提
protectionism
升
and
多边和双
unilateralism,
边
and strive
开
to
放水
enhance
平，
the level of opening up at both
推
multilateral
动
and
各国经济
bilateral levels,
联动
so that
融
we
通，
could make our
共同
economies
建设开
interconnected
放型
and build
世界
an
经济。
open world economy.
各国应该加强宏观经
We
济
need
的
to
政策
improve
协调，
macroeconomic coordination
少
and reduce
负面
negative
外溢效
spillovers of national
合力
policies
促进世
to
界经济的
jointly
增长。
promote global growth.
各国应该推动构建公
We
正、
need to
合理、
establish a
透
set
明
of
的
global economic
国际
and
经
trade
贸
rules
规则
that
体
is
系，
fair, reasonable, and
推进贸易
transparent,
投资自由化
and
便利
promote
化，
trade and
促
investment
进全球
liberalization
经
and
济
facilitation
进一步
to
开
make
放、
the global
交
economy
流、
more open through
融合。
greater exchanges and integration.
各国应该坚持创新
It is
引领，
important for all countries
加快
to pursue
新
innovative
旧
growth
动能
and
转
speed
换
up。the transformation of growth drivers.
只有敢于创新、勇于变革，才能
Innovation
突破世界经济发展
is the
瓶颈。
premier engine for development. Only with
世
bold
界经济
innovation
刚
and
刚
reform
走
can
出
we
国际
break the
金融危
bottlenecks
机阴
in
影，
global growth.
回升的
The
态
world
势
economy has just
尚不稳
emerged from
固，
the shadow of the international financial crisis.
迫
The
切需要
recovery
各
is
国
still
共同推
unstable.
动
There is an
科技创新
urgent need for
培
concerted
育
efforts
新的
of
增
countries
长
around the
点，
world to promote scientific innovation and foster
造
new
福人类
growth
是科技
drivers.
创新
The
最强大
well-being
的动
of
力。
humanity is the biggest driving force
在休戚
for
与共的
scientific
地球
innovation.
村，
In this
共享创新
interconnected
成果
global
是
village,
国际社
to
会
share the
一
fruit
致
of
呼声
innovation is the common
现实
aspiration and
选择。
natural choice of the world community.
各国应该把握
We need to
新一轮科
seize
技
the
革命
opportunities
和产业
presented
变
by the
革
new round of
带来的机
technological
遇，
and industrial revolution,
加强数字经济、
strengthen
人
cooperation
工智能、
in frontier
纳米技
sectors
术
such as digital
等前沿领
economy,
域合作，
artificial
共同打造
intelligence,
新
and
技术、
nanotechnology,
新产业、
and work together to
新
foster
业
new
态、
technologies,
新
new
模式。
industries, and new forms and models of business.
各国应该坚持包容普
It
惠
is，important for all
推动
countries to
各
pursue
国共同
inclusive
发展。
development for the benefit of all.
一花独放不
As
是
the
春，
Chinese saying goes,
百花
all
齐放
flowers in full
春满
blossom
园。
make a beautiful spring.
追求幸
To
福生
lead
活
a
是各
happy
国
life
人民
is a shared
共同的
aspiration of people all over the world.
人类社会要持续进步，
Progress
各
of
国就
human
应该坚
society
持要开放，
requires
不要
continued
封闭，
efforts of all
要合
countries
作，
to advance opening
不要
up,
对抗，
cooperation,
要
and
共
win-win
赢，
development instead of
不要独
seclusion,
占。
confrontation, and monopoly.
在经济全球化深
In
入
a
发
world
展的
of
今
deepening
天，
economic globalization,
弱肉强食，
practices of the law
赢
of the
者通
jungle
吃，
and winner takes all
是一条越走
only
越窄的
represent a
死
dead
胡
end.
同。包容普惠、
An inclusive
互利
growth
共
for all
赢，才是越
is
走
surely the
越
right way
宽的
forward.
人间正道。各国应该超越差异，
Countries need to rise above
发挥
differences
各自优势，
and leverage their
推动包
respective
容发
strengths
展，
to pursue
携
inclusive
手
growth
应对
in the
全人
face
类
of common
共
risks
同面临
and
的
challenges.
风险和挑战。落实2030
We need to implement
发
the
展议程，
2030 Agenda for
减少
Sustainable
全球发展不
Development,
平衡，
reduce the
推
imbalances
动
in
经济
global
全球化
development,
朝着
and
更加
make
开放、
economic
包容、
globalization more
普
open,
惠、
inclusive,
平衡、
balanced,
共赢
and
的
beneficial
方向
for
发展，
all.
让各国人民共
This
享
way, people of all
经济
countries
全球化
will be
和
able
世
to
界经济
sharing the
增长的
benefits of economic
成果。
globalization and global growth.
女士们、先生们、朋友们，
Ladies and gentlemen,
改革开
friends,
放40年来，
the last 4 decades of reform and
中国人民
opening up in China
自力更生，
has been an
发
epic
愤图
journey
强，
for the Chinese
砥
people.
砺前行，依靠自
With
己的辛勤
determination
和
and
汗水，
through
书写了国
self-reliance
家和
and
民
hard
族
work,
发展的
we have forged
壮丽
ahead
史诗。
on the road to national development and progress.
同时，中国坚
China
持
has
打开国
pursued
门到
development
建
with
设，
its door open
实现了
and
从
succeeded
封闭
in
半封闭
transforming
到
a
全方位
closed
开
and
放的
semi-closed
伟大历
economy
史转折。
into a fully open economy.
开放已经成为当代中
Openness
国的
has become
鲜明
a
标志。
trademark of China.
中国不断扩大对外开放，
China has grown
不仅
by
发展了
embracing
自
the
己，
world, and the world
也造福
has
了世
also
界。
benefited from China's opening up.
今年4月，
As I explained
我
at
在
the
博鳌亚
Boao
洲
Forum
论
for
坛的
Asia
年会开幕式
last
上说
April,
过，过去40年，中国
China's
经济发
economic
展
growth over
是
the
在
past
开放
40
条件下
years
取得的。
has been achieved with a
未
commitment
来中
to
国经济
opening
实
up.
现高质
In the
量发
same
展，
vein, high-quality development of
必须在
China's
更加
economy
开
in the
放的条
future
件下
can
进行。
only be guaranteed with greater
我多次
openness.
强调，
I have made it clear
中国
once and
开放的大
again
门
that
不会
China's
关闭，
door will never be
只会
closed.
越
It will
开越大。
only open still wider.
中国推动
China
更
will
高
not
水平开
stop
放的
its
脚步，
efforts to pursue
不会停止。
higher quality opening up.
中国推
China
动
will not stop its
建设
effort
开
to
放型世
pursue
界
an
经济
open
的
world
脚步
economy.
不会停止。中国推
And
动
China will
构
not
建人
stop
类命
its
运共同
effort
体的脚
to
步
pursue a community with
不会停。
a shared future for mankind. China will unswervingly follow a win-win strategy of opening up,
实现高水平的
adopt
贸易和投
high-quality
资自由
policies
化、
to
便
advance
利化
trade and
政策，
investment liberalization and
推动形
facilitation,
成陆
and
海
move toward
内外联动、
nationwide opening up
东
that
西双向
coordinates
互济的
the coastal and
开放者。
inland areas and connects the eastern and western
中国
regions.
将始终是全
China
球
will
共
remain
同
a
开放的
strong
重要推动
advocate
者。
of openness at the
中
global
国将
level
始终是世
and will
界经济
continue
增
to
长
act
的
as a
稳定
stable
动力
engine of
源。
global growth.
中国将始终
A
是
big
各国拓展
market
商机的
with enormous
活力大
opportunities
市场。中国将
and
始终是
an active
全球
supporter
治理改
of
革的
global
积
governance
极贡
reform.
献者。为进一步
To
扩大开
broaden
放，
its opening up,
中国
China will step
将
up
在以
efforts
下几方面
in the following
加
aspects.
大推进力度。第一，
First,
激发
we will
进口潜力。
stimulate the potential for increased imports.
中国主动扩大进口，
China's initiative to expand
不是权宜之计，
imports is not a
而
choice
是
of
面向世界，
expediency. It
面
is
向未
a
来，
future-oriented step
促进共同发
taken
展
to
的
embrace the world
长
and
远
promote
考量。
common development.
中国将顺
To
应
meet the trend of
国内
consumption
消费升
upgrading,
级趋势，采取
we
更
will
加
take
积极有
more
效的政策
proactive
措施，
measures to increase
促进
people's income
居民收入增加，
and
消费能
their
力增
spending
强，
power.
培育中高端
Foster
消
new
费
growth areas
新
of
增长点。
medium high-end consumption,
持续释放国内市场潜
continue
力，
to unleash the potential of
扩
the
大
domestic
进口
market,
空间。
and expand the scope for imports.
中国将进一步降低关税，
We will take further steps to lower
提
tariffs,
升通关便利化水平，
facilitate customs clearance,
削减进口环节制度
reduce
性成本，
institutional costs in import,
加快
and step
跨
up
境电子商务
cross-border e-commerce
等新
and
业态
other new
新模
forms
式
and
发展。
models of business.
中国有
China has
13亿多
a big
人口
market
的大市场，
of over 1.3 billion
中国
people,
真诚向各国
and it is our
开放市场。
sincere commitment to open the
中
Chinese
国国际
market.
进口博览会
The CIIE,
不仅要
an event
年年办
to
下
be
去，
held on an annual basis,
而且要办出
will
水平，
feature good
办出成
performance,
效，
good results,
越办
and
越好。
continued success in the years to come.
第二，持续放宽
Second,
市场准入。
We will continue to broaden market access.
4月份我宣布的
The
放
market
宽市
access
场准
measures
入
I
各项
announced
举措，
Last April
目前已基本落地。
have been basically put in place.
中国已经进一步精简
China
了
has shortened
外商
the
投资准
negative
入
list on
负
foreign
面清单，
investment
减少投资
to
限制，
reduce investment
提升
restrictions
投资自由化水
and
平。
promote investment liberalization.
中国正在稳步扩
We are
大
steadily
金融业开放，
increasing the openness of the
持续推
financial
进
sector,
服务业开放，
continuing to open up the service
深
sector,
化农业、
and working toward greater
采矿业
openness in the agricultural, mining,
制造业
and manufacturing
开
sectors.
放，加快电
We are
信、
accelerating opening
教育、
in such areas as telecommunications, education, medical service, and culture.
开放进程，特别是外
In
国投资者
particular,
关注
The
国内
foreign
市场
equity
缺口较
caps
大的，
are going to be raised
教育、
in the
医
education
疗的领
and
域
medical service
也将
sectors,
放宽
where
外
there
资
is
股比
both
限制。
huge interest among foreign investors and shortage
估计未
in
来15
domestic
年
supply. In the coming 15 years,
中国进
China's
口商
import
品
of goods and
和服务
services are expected
将分别
to exceed
超过
30
30万亿美
trillion
元
US dollars
和
and
10万亿美元。
10 trillion US dollars respectively.
第三，
Third,
营造国际一流
we
营商
will
环境。
foster a world-class business environment.
中国将加快出台
China will introduce
外商投资法
the
规，
law on foreign investment at a
完
faster
善公开
pace
透明的
and
涉
institute
外法律体系。
an open and transparent system of
全面深入实
foreign-related
施
laws.
准入前
We will implement
国民待遇
across the
加
board
负面
the
清单
management system
管理制
based
度。
on pre-establishment national treatment and negative
中国
list.
将尊重
We respect
国际营商惯例，
international business rules and
对在
practice
中国境内注
and
册的
provide
各类
equal
企业
treatment to all
一视
types
同
of
仁
businesses registered
平等
in
对待。
China.
中国将保
We
护
protect
外资企
the
业合法
lawful
权益，
rights and interests of foreign
坚决
companies
依法惩
and are
处
resolute
侵
in
犯外
meting
商合
out
法权益，
in a
特别是
law-binding manner
侵犯
punishment for
知识
violations
产
of the
权
lawful rights and interests of
的行
foreign
为，
investors, particularly
提高知
IPR
识产权
infringements.
审查
We
质
will
量，
enhance the credibility
审查
and
效率。
efficiency of IP
引
examination
入
and put in place
惩罚性
a punitive
赔偿制度，
compensation system
显著提高
to significantly
违法
raise the
成本。
cost for offenders.
营商环境只有更
Improvement
好，
of the business
没有
environment
最好。
is an ongoing process, and there is
各
always
国
room
都
for
应该
things
努
to
力改
become
进自
better.
己的营商环境，
Countries need to improve their
解决
business
自身
environment
存在的问题。
by addressing their problems.
不能啊
They should not
总是粉饰
just
自己，
point fingers at
指责
others
他人，
to gloss over their own problem.
不能像手电筒
They should
那
not
样
hold a flashlight
只
in
照
hand,
他人，不
doing
照自己
nothing。but to check out on the weakness of others and not on their own.
第四，
Fourth,
打造对外开放
we will
的
explore
新高地。
new horizons of opening up. China will support
自由贸易试验
its
区
pilot
深化
free
改革
trade
创新，
zones to deepen
持续深化
reform and
差别化
innovation,
探索，
make continued
加大压力测试，
explorations based on
发
their
挥自由贸易试验
differentiated
区改
conditions
革
and
开
step
放
up
试验田的作
stress
用。
tests so as to give full play to their
中
role
国
as a
将抓
pilot
紧
ground
研究
for
提出
reform and opening up.
海
China
南
will be quick to put
分步
forward
骤
policies and
分阶
institutions
段
for building a
建
free
设自
trade
由贸易
port
港
in
政策
Hainan in a
和
step-by-step
制度
and
体系
phased manner so as to speed up exploration of the
加快探
development
索建
of
设中
free
国特
trade
色
ports
自
with
由贸易
distinct
港进
Chinese
程。
features.
这是中国扩大
This
对外开放
is
的
a
重大举
significant
措，
move by
将
China
带动
to
形
open
成
wider to
更
the
高层
world.
次
It will set
改
a
革
new
开放
model
新
and
格局。
open up new prospects for reform and opening up
第五
at a higher level.
推动多边和双边合作深入发展，
Fifth, we will promote
中国
international
一贯主
cooperation
张
at multilateral
坚
and
定
bilateral
维护世
levels.
界贸易组织规
China
则，
believes that the rules of the
支持对
WTO should be
世
upheld
界贸易
firmly,
组织进行
its
必要改
necessary
革，
reforms should be
共同
supported,
捍卫
and the multilateral
多边贸易
trading
体
system
制。
should be defended.
中国愿推动
China will strive
早日
for
达成
the early
区域
conclusion
全面经济伙
of the
伴关系
regional
协议，
comprehensive economic partnership
加快推进
and speed up
中欧
negotiations
投
on
资协定谈
a
判，
China-EU investment agreement
加快
and
中日韩
a
自
China-Japan
由贸易区。
ROK
谈判
free
进程
trade area.
中国将认真实施
China will earnestly implement
2018年中非合
the
作
8
论坛
major
北京峰
initiatives
会
announced at this
提出的
year's Beijing summit
8大行动
of。the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation.
中国支持
China
20国
supports
集团、
mechanisms such as the
亚太
G20,
经合组织、
APEC,
上海合作
Shanghai
组织、
Cooperation Organization,
金砖国家等
and BRICS
机制，发挥更
in
大作用，
playing greater roles
推动全球经济治理体
in
系
building a fairer and
朝着
more
更加公
equitable
正、合
global
理的方向发
economic
展。
governance system.
中国将继续推进
China
共
will
建，
continue to advance the Belt and Road Initiative
坚持
through
共商
international
共建
cooperation in the
共享
spirit of consultation and
同相关国
collaboration
家一道
for shared benefits.
推进重大
We
项目
will
建设，
work with the participating
搭建更
countries
多
on major
贸易
projects,
促进平台，
set up more trade
鼓励
promotion
更多有
platforms,
实力、
and
信誉
encourage
好的中国
more
企业
well-established and capable Chinese companies
沿线国家
to invest in countries
开展投资
along
合
the
作，
routes
深化生
to
态、
enhance cooperation in areas of
文化、
ecology,
民生
science and
等各领
technology,
域
culture,
交
and
流合作，
people's livelihood.
为全球提供
By so doing, we
开放
hope to
合
set
作
up
的
for the
国
whole
际平
world
台。
a platform for open cooperation.
女士们、先生们、朋友们，
Ladies and gentlemen, friends,
当前中国经济运行总体
the
平稳
Chinese economy
稳
is now
中有进。
on the whole stable and making
前三
good
季度
progress.
中国国内
For
生
the
产
first
总
three
值
quarters of this year,
增长
China's GDP
6.7%，
grew by 6.7%,
其中第
including
三季度增长
a
6.5%，
6.5% growth registered for the
符合
third
预期目
quarter,
标。
meeting our targeted goal for growth.
全年粮食产
Grain
量
output for the
渴
whole
望
year
保持在
is projected to
1.2
surpass
万
1.2
1.2万亿斤
trillion
以上，
jing, or 600 million tons.
城镇新增就业
Some 11.07
1107
million new
万
jobs
人，
have been created in
提前
towns
完
and
成
cities,
全年目标。
hitting our annual goal ahead of schedule.
从经济增长、
Judged by the
就
main
业、
economic
物
indexes
价、
from GDP growth,
国际收支、
job creation, consumer
企业
prices,
利
and
润、
international balance of
财
payment,
政收入、
to companies' profit
劳动
margins,
生产率等主
government
要指
fiscal
标看，
revenue, and productivity,
中国经济运行
China's economy
都处于合
is
理区
truly
间，
performing well
为
within
实
the
现全年
reasonable
目标
range.
任务
This has
打
given
下
us
了
a solid
重要基础。
foundation for delivering the
同
development
其他
goals
主要
for
经
the
济
whole
体
year.
相比，
And
中国
compared
经济
with
增
other
长
major economies,
仍居
China still
世
ranks
界前列
among the world's top in terms of GDP growth.
对中国经济发展前景，
So when you talk about the future
大家
of the Chinese
完全可
economy,
以抱着
you
乐
have
观态度。
every reason to be confident.
中国经济发展
The
健康稳定
fundamentals
的基本
for sound
面
and stable growth
没有改
of the
变，
Chinese economy remain
支持高
unchanged.
质量发展的
The
生产
necessary
要素条
production
件
factors for high quality
没有改
development
变。
remain unchanged.
长期稳中
And the
向好
overall
的总体势
momentum
头，
of long-term stability and progress remains
中国
unchanged.
宏观调控能力
China's capacity for
不断增强。
macroeconomic regulation is growing,
全面深化
as
改革
efforts to deepen
不断
reform
释放
across the board
发展
have
动力。
unleashed new drivers of growth.
随着共建
With the
“一
Belt
带
and
一路
Road Initiative
扎实
being
推进
further implemented,
中国同“一带一
two-way
路”沿线国
investment
家的
and
投
trade
资
between China
和贸
and
易
the
合作
BRI partner
加
countries
快推进。
have continued to gather
中
pace.
国
All in all,
具有保
the
持
favorable conditions are in
经济
place for the long-term,
长期健
healthy
康稳
and
定发
steady
展
growth
的
of the
诸多
Chinese
有利条
economy.
件。当前，任何事物都有其两面。
Of course, everything has two
在
sides.
当前国际
The
国内经
economic
济形势下，
situation at
中
home
国
and
经
abroad
济发展
has
也遇到了一
created
些突出的矛
some
盾和
significant
问题。
challenges for the Chinese
一些
economy,
领域
such as
不确定性
more uncertainty in
有所
some
上升。
sectors,
一些企业经营
more
困难更
difficulties for
多，
some
一些
enterprises,
领域风险
and
挑
growing
战
risks in
增大。
certain sectors.
总体看，
These challenges,
这些都是
generally speaking,
前进中遇
are
到的问
natural
题。
in the course of development.
我们正在采取措
And
施，
we are
积极加以解决，
taking active steps to solve
成
them.
效
Our
已经和
efforts
正在
are
显
already
现出来。
paying off.
中国是世界第二大经济体，
China is the world's second
有
largest
13亿多人
economy.
口的，
We have a market of more than 1.3 billion
有
consumers
960万多
who live on the
平
land
方公里的
of
国
over
土。
9.3 million square kilometers.
中国经济是
To
一
use
片
a
大海，
metaphor, the Chinese economy
而不是一个小
is
池
not
塘。
a pond, but an ocean.
大海啊，
The ocean
有风平浪静之
may have
时，
its calm days,
也有疯狂宇
but
宙之时。
big winds and storms are only to be
没有
expected.
疯狂宇宙，
Without them,
那就不是大海
the
了。
ocean wouldn't be what it is.
狂风骤雨
Big winds and storms
可以掀翻小池塘，
may upset a pond,
但不能掀翻大
but
海。
never an ocean.
经历了无数次
Having
狂风
experienced
骤雨，
numerous winds and storms,
大海
the ocean
依旧
will still
在哪儿？
be there.
经历了5000多
It
年
is the
的
same
艰
for
难
China.
困苦，
After going through 5,000 years
中国
of trials and
依旧在那儿。
tribulations, China is still here.
面向未
Looking
来，
ahead,
中国
China
将
will
永
always
远
be here
在这儿。
to stay.
我相信，只要我们保
I
持
am
战略定
convinced
力，
as long as we have
全面
strategic
深化改革
confidence,
开放，
deepen reform and opening
深
up
化供给
across the
侧
board,
结构性改革，
intensify supply-side
下大
structural
气力解决
reforms,
存
and
在的突
make
出矛盾
greater efforts to
和问
solve
题，
outstanding
中
problems,
国经济
then the Chinese
就一定能够
economy
加
will
快
surely make
转入
a
高质
quicker
量发展
transition
轨
to
道。
high-quality development.
中国人民
The
就一定
Chinese
能
people
战胜
will surely
前进道路上的
overcome
一
all
切困难
challenges
挑
coming
战。
our way.
中国就一
And
定
China will surely
能够迎来更
embrace
加
a
光明
brighter
的
future
发展
of
前景。
development.
女士们、先生们、朋友们，
Ladies and gentlemen, friends,
一座城市
every
有一
city
座城市的品格。
has its character.
上海
Located
背靠长
at
江
where the
水，
Yangtze River
面向太平洋，
flows into the Pacific
长期
Ocean,
领中国开放
Shanghai
风
has
景
been
线。
a pioneer of opening in
上
China.
海之所以发
The
展得这么
city's
好，
development is made
从其
possible
开放
by
品
its
格、
character,
开放优势
competitive
开放
edge,
作为
and steps
紧密相连。
toward greater opening.
我曾经在上海
Having
工作过，
myself worked here, I know personally just how important it is for Shanghai to be open and for China to keep the city open. Indeed, openness, innovation, and inclusiveness have become the hallmark of Shanghai. They are also a vivid reflection of China in the new era and its commitment to development and progress. To capitalize on the important role of Shanghai and its surrounding areas in China's opening up, we have made the following decisions. First, we will expand the China-Shanghai pilot free trade zone to include a new section and will encourage and support bold and creative steps by Shanghai to advance investment and trade liberalization and facilitation so that more of its successful practices may be replicated in other parts of China. Second, we will launch a Science and Technology Innovation Board at the Shanghai Stock Exchange and experiment with a registration system for listed companies. We will also support Shanghai in cementing its position as an international financial center and a hub of science and innovation, and steadily improve the fundamental institutions of its capital market. Third, we will support integrated development of the Yangtze River Delta region. We will make it a national strategy and implement our new development philosophy in real earnest. We will build a modern economic system and adopt higher standards for reform and opening up. The region will develop in tandem with the Belt and Road Initiative, the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei Coordinated Development Area, the Yangtze River Economic Belt, and the Guangdong-Hong Kong-Macau Greater Bay Area, and will help improve the overall layout of China's reform and opening up. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, the CIIE is hosted by China with the support of the WTO and other international organizations, as well as a large number of participating countries. It is not China's solo show, but rather a chorus involving countries from around the world. I hope that at the Hongqiao International Economic and Trade Forum, you will brainstorm ideas for reforming the global economic governance system, for jointly safeguarding free trade and the multilateral trading system, and for working together to foster an open global economy that is innovative and inclusive. Together, let us contribute to our common efforts to build a community of shared future and usher in an even better tomorrow for mankind. Thank you. Thank you, President Xi Jinping, for your keynote speech. In your speech, you explained to us the great significance of this CIIE. You also analyzed the challenges facing the global economy. You have called upon countries to step up efforts for common development, and you have pointed way for China's efforts to broaden its opening up. Indeed, your keynote speech is very important. Now let's warmly welcome President Danilo Medina of the Dominican Republic.
Excelentísimo señor Xi Jinping, Presidente de la República Popular de China. President Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China,
de Estado y de Gobierno,
Your Excellencies,
honorables
heads of
miembros de
governments,
delegaciones
heads of state,
nacionales e internacionales
Your
que nos
Excellencies, heads
acompañan,
of delegations,
señores miembros de los
and
organismos
international organizations,
multilaterales, señoras y señores,
ladies and
es un
gentlemen,
placer estar aquí hoy con todos ustedes.
it is
Les
a
extiendo
pleasure
un
to be
cálido
here
saludo
today
del
with
pueblo
all of you,
dominicano a
and
cada uno de los
extend
aquí
the warm
presentes.
greetings of the Dominican people
Quiero
to each
agradecer
of those
al
present
presidente Xi
here.
Jinping y su gobierno,
I want to thank
así como
President
a
Xi Jinping and his
autoridades
government,
de
as
Shanghái,
well as the Shanghai Municipal
a los
Government,
organizadores de este evento
and the organizers
por
of
esta
this event,
invitación a la primera
for the
Feria
invitation
Internacional
to
de
the first China
Importación y
International
Exportación de
Import
China,
Expo of China,
que desde ya se ha convertido en un
which has
evento
already
trascendente para el
become
comercio
a
internacional.
major event for international
Es un
trade.
honor para nosotros visitar a China,
It is an honor for us to
no
visit
solo la
Shanghai,
ciudad más grande,
which is not only the largest city in China,
visitar a Shanghái, no solo la
but
ciudad
also
más grande de China,
the most
sino la más
dazzling and
deslumbrante
perhaps
y
the one
quizás
that best
la que mejor
reveals
revela el
the
compromiso del pueblo
commitment of the
chino
Chinese people
con la
to
modernidad,
modernity,
la
globalization,
globalización y el
and the
progreso de la
progress
civilización
of
humana.
human civilization.
Para nadie es un secreto que antes del año
An
2030
estimate in
la República
2016
Popular
showed
China
that China was
apunta a
on its way
convertirse
to
en la mayor
become the
economía
world's
del mundo.
largest economy.
Un nuevo logro
This
que
is
se
no
agregará
secret.
a los de ocupar el primer
Apart
lugar
from this,
en
China
el ranking de las economías exportadoras del mundo
is also
y la
geared to become
principal
the world's
inversionista
biggest
global.
exporter and
El año
investor.
pasado tuve la oportunidad de ver
Last year
la
I had the
historia de China,
opportunity
una serie de televisión
to see
producida en 2016 y
the
narrada
history
por
of
Michael
China, a
profesor de
television
historia de la
series produced in
Universidad de
2016 and narrated by Michelle
Nada me
Wood,
impactó
professor
más
of history at
que el
the
observar
University of
la
Manchester.
trascendencia que para
Nothing
el pueblo
shocked me
chino
more
tiene la
than observing the
celebración
importance
del
attached by the
Festival de
Chinese
Qingming,
people to the
día en que las
celebration of the
familias
Qingming
honran a sus
Festival, or the
antepasados,
Tomb Sweeping Day,
presentándose
on which families honor
ante
their
sus tumbas
ancestors,
para narrar todos y cada uno de los logros
presenting
de cada
themselves
miembro de la
before
familia
their
alcanzó
graves
durante el
to
año
narrate
anterior,
the achievements of
enalteciendo
each member
y
of the family
agradeciendo
made
el apellido
during
familiar.
the previous year.
La manifestación de respeto y
Honoring
compromiso
the family
del pueblo
name.
chino con sus antepasados
The
es
manifestation
realmente
of respect
conmovedora
and
y
commitment of the
extraordinaria.
Chinese people with their
Pero al mismo
ancestors
tiempo
is
revela
truly
un
moving
caudal
and
adicional.
extraordinarily
Detrás de
humane.
la
But
gran
at the
marcha
same
del
time,
pueblo
it
chino
reveals an
para
additional
convertir a
cause
su nación
behind
en la
the great
principal
march
economía
of the
del
Chinese people to turn
Millones
their
de
nation
chinos
into the largest
estudiando,
economy of the world.
innovando, creando y trabajando,
Millions of Chinese
no solo
studying,
para mejorar las
innovating,
condiciones de
creating,
vida de
and
sus
working
familias
not
y
only
elevar la
to
riqueza de su
improve
gran
the living
nación,
conditions of their
sino
families
también
and
porque
raise the wealth
entienden
of their
que
great
con ello
nation,
están
but also
honrando
because they
y
understand
enalteciendo
that
a
with
sus
this
antepasados.
they're honoring and exalting their
Señoras y
predecessors.
Esta feria
Ladies and gentlemen,
es un espacio inmejorable,
this fair
no solo para conocer los
is an
productos y
unbeatable
servicios
space not
que
only
demanda la
to
economía
know
de
the
China,
products and services
sino
demanded
también
by the Chinese
para
economy,
fomentar el
but
intercambio
also to
comercial
promote
y
commercial
un
exchange
entendimiento
and
entre
greater
las decenas de
understanding
países
among
aquí
the dozens
presentes
of countries present
procedentes de
here
los
from
5
the 5
continentes.
continents.
Estar aquí presentes entre tanto dinamismo y
To be
actividad
here
es un recordatorio de
and
los mejores
present
valores
ourselves
de la
between both
globalización,
dynamism and
proceso
activity
en
is
el
a
que
reminder of the
podemos
best
y
values of
debemos ganar
globalization,
todos.
a process in which we
Hoy
can
día,
and must all
China ha
win.
convertido en un referente de ese
Today,
intercambio
China
abierto,
has become a
de esa
benchmark
cooperación
of
y de esa
open exchange,
conectividad entre las
cooperation, and
naciones,
connectivity among
que tiene como
nations.
ejemplo visible el proceso de
This is
apertura
evidenced
y
by the
reforma
process of
que
reform
ya
and
cumple
opening
4
up,
décadas y la
which
importante
is now 4
iniciativa de la
decades
franja y la
old,
ruta.
and the important
Felicitamos
Belt
al
and
gobierno
Road
chino por dar
initiative.
una vez más
We
muestras de
congratulate
su
the Chinese
apertura
government
al
for once
organizar esta
again
feria,
showing its
para
openness
que los demás
in
países
organizing
podamos
this expo,
presentar
so
nuestros
that other
productos
countries
y
can
entrar en
present their
contacto con
products
potenciales
and get in
clientes
touch with
en un
potential
mercado tan
customers
apreciado
in a
como el
market
mercado
as
chino.
enormous as China.
Esta feria nos permite conocer una
This
amplia
fair
muestra de los productos y
allows us to
servicios
know a
que demanda
wide
la
sample of
creciente
the
clase
products
media.
and services in high
La gran
demand
fábrica del
by the
mundo
growing
abre
Chinese
ahora
middle
sus
class.
puertas y todos los
The
presentes
World Factory now
estamos felices
opens
de
its
poder
doors and
mostrarle
everyone
a su población
present is happy
nuestro
to be
enorme
able to
potencial.
show its
Asimismo,
population our
entendemos que para
enormous
todos los
potential.
países participantes
Likewise,
es una
we
gran
understand
oportunidad
that for all
estar
participating
presente en este
countries,
espacio
it is a great
que nos
opportunity to be
permite no
present in
solamente
this
acercarnos
space, which allows
al
us
gran
not
gigante
only
asiático
to
de manera
approach the
individual,
great Asian
sino
giant,
también
but also to
intercambiar
exchange
experiencias, poner en
experiences,
marcha alianzas estratégicas
launch
y
strategic
poner forma de
partnerships,
cooperación
and
para
explore
insertarnos
models of
éxito en este
cooperation
mercado.
to integrate
La
ourselves
República Dominicana
successfully
se
with
encuentra
this
aquí
market.
hoy
The
en una
Dominican
circunstancia
Republic
muy
is here
especial,
today in a very
pues en
special
mayo
circumstance, because
iniciamos
in May
una nueva
we began
etapa de
a new
relaciones diplomáticas
stage of
plenas
full
con la
diplomatic
República Popular
relations
China.
with the People's Republic
Por
of
tanto,
China. Therefore,
es
it is of
esencial
special
interés
interest
para
for
nosotros
us to strengthen
estrechar
the
los lazos
commercial and
comerciales y
cultural
culturales
ties
entre
between our
nuestros pueblos.
peoples.
Vale decir, sin embargo,
It is
los
worth
lazos
mentioning,
comerciales,
however, that the
aún
commercial
previo a la
ties,
nueva
even
etapa de
before
relaciones
the new
diplomáticas,
stage of
ya
diplomatic
superaban los
relations,
2.500 millones
already
de dólares.
exceeded
Y
$2.5
confiamos, sin
billion
embargo,
per
en que
year.
esta iniciativa,
We trust, however, that initiatives like
iniciativas
this
como esta nos
allow us to
permitan
balance the
equilibrar la balanza de
trade
intercambio
between
entre
our
las dos
nations.
naciones. Los productos dominicanos son reconocidos mundialmente por su calidad,
Dominican
al
products are
punto que
recognized
somos el
worldwide
principal
for their
exportador
quality.
de cigarros
We are the
hechos a
number
mano
one exporter
y de
of
los primeros
handmade
exportadores de
cigars
cacao
and
de
one of
altísima
the
calidad.
biggest exporters of high-quality
Nuestro
cocoa,
apreciado ron
a
dominicano,
beloved Dominican
así como
rum,
las frutas y vegetales
as well
tropicales
as
como la
tropical
piña,
fruits and
el
vegetables
aguacate,
such as
el banano,
pineapple,
entre muchos
avocado,
otros.
and banana, among others.
Estos y otros productos igualmente
These
son exportados
and
a
other
decenas de
products
países,
are
incluyendo los
annually
mercados
exported to
internacionales
more than
más exigentes y
150
competitivos.
countries, including the
Para
most
nosotros
demanding
es una
and
gran
competitive
satisfacción
international markets.
poder ofrecérselos
For us,
en
it is
esta
a
feria de
great satisfaction
importaciones
to be able to offer
para
them
que
in
conozcan de
this
primera mano
import
lo
expo
mejor de
so
nuestra
that they
tierra.
know firsthand the
Confío
best of our
en que
land.
serán de su agrado
I
e
trust that
interés,
they will be of
en
your
que les
liking
transmitirán
and
la alegría y
interest,
generosidad
and that they
del pueblo
will
dominicano
convey
que
the
lo
joy
produce.
and generosity of the
Esto es algo que
Dominican
nos
people
complace
who produce them.
especialmente en este año 2018, en que en mi país hemos
This
nombrado
is something that
oficialmente
pleases us,
año
especially
del
because
fomento de las
2018
exportaciones.
has been officially named
También
the
nos
year of
complace
export
una amplia
promotion in my country.
también nos acompaña una amplia representación
We're also accompanied by a wide
de
representation
empresarios
of
dominicanos,
Dominican business leaders
para los que se abren
for
numerosas
whom numerous
oportunidades
new
de
business
nuevos
opportunities
negocios,
are opened,
entre los que se encuentran representantes del sector industrial,
among which
zona franca
are
y
representatives
del
of the
área
industrial
turística.
sector, free trade
Todos
zones,
ellos
and the
ámbitos
tourist
en que
area.
somos líderes en la región caribeña
All
y
of which
centroamericana.
are areas in
Y
which
por
we are
supuesto,
leaders in the Caribbean
cuando
and
pensamos
Central
en aumentar
American
las
region.
exportaciones dominicanas, una de las
And of
primeras
course, when we
cosas
think
que
about
tenemos
increasing Dominican
que
exports,
pensar,
one of the first things we have to think,
tanto
both
desde el
from the
gobierno
government
como
and the
desde el
private
sector
sector,
privado,
is to
es
get into
insertarnos
new
en
markets,
nuevos mercados,
growing markets like those we
mercados
find in
crecientes,
Asia and in
como los que
particular
encontramos en
in
Asia
China.
y de manera particular en China.
That
Por eso hemos
is why
acudido
we
hoy
have
con una
come
delegación
today
de
with
productores y
a
exportadores
delegation of
dominicanos
Dominican
a fin de
producers
estrechar
and
lazos,
exporters
escuchar
in order
ideas
to strengthen
y
ties,
también hacer propuestas.
listen to ideas,
Entendemos que el
and also
fortalecimiento de las
make
relaciones
proposals.
comerciales es
We
fundamental
understand
para
that the
acercar a
strengthening
los
of
países
commercial relations
en
is a
todos los
fundamental
ámbitos.
step to bring countries
Si
closer
estas
in all
relaciones son
areas.
abiertas,
And if
inclusivas
these
y
relationships are
balanceadas,
open, inclusive,
esto
and
ayuda
balanced,
a
it
promover el
helps
crecimiento
to promote
de
the
ambos
growth
partes.
of both parties.
El comercio es y debe ser
Trade
siempre
is
visto
and must
como
always
una
be seen
oportunidad de
as a
ganar-ganar.
win-win opportunity.
Muchas gracias por tanto por invitarnos
Thank you
a
very
participar
much,
en esta
therefore,
experiencia
for
enriquecedora.
inviting us to
Puedo
participate in this
asegurarles
enriching
que
experience.
nuestra puerta está
I can
abierta
assure you that
y
our
nuestra
door
mano
is
tendida,
open and our
no solo
hands
para hacer
outstretched,
negocios,
not only
sino también para
to
crear
do
alianzas
business,
duraderas
but also to
que nos
create
beneficien a todos.
lasting
En los
partnerships
próximos meses
that benefits us all.
seguiremos haciendo todo lo que está
In the coming
en
months,
nuestras
we will
manos
continue
para
to do
reforzar los
everything in
lazos
our power to
comerciales
strengthen
entre la
commercial
República
ties
Popular
between the
China
People's
y
Republic
la
of China
República
and the
Dominicana.
Dominican Republic.
Tenemos ante nosotros
We
la gran
have
oportunidad
before us the great
de seguir
opportunity
tendiendo puentes
to continue
y de esta forma
building bridges,
crear día a día
and in this
más
way to
empleo
create day
y más
by day
prosperidad
more
para
employment
nuestro
and more
pueblo.
prosperity
Muchas gracias a todos.
for our peoples. Thank you.
感谢梅迪纳总统的精彩发言。
Thank you,
下面
President
让我
Medina.
们热烈欢迎
I
肯
now
尼亚总统肯尼亚塔
Recognize
先生致
President
辞。
Kenyatta of Kenya.
Your Excellency Xi Jinping, President of the People's Republic of China, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Your Royal Highness, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to join you for the opening of this historic China International Import Expo. And let me start by expressing my appreciation to you, Your Excellency, and the People's Republic of China for the warm welcome accorded to me and my entire delegation since our arrival here in Shanghai. This expo brings together 130 countries and 2,800 enterprises and more than 150,000 buyers who will use this platform as a medium to advance trade interests and build networks for future business partnership. I thank Your Excellency for your commitment to economic cooperation and readiness to open up your market to the rest of the world. This aligns well with the vision of shared prosperity. This expo is a fitting launchpad for growing trade cooperation between China and Africa. It is an important signal to the world that China remains open for business despite the growing wave of trade protectionism. This expo comes at a time when the World Trade Organization is facing unprecedented challenges, and I congratulate you, President Xi, for your leadership in advocating for the strengthening of rule-based global trade. The relationship between Africa in general and Kenya in particular and China dates back to the Silk Road and the expedition of Admiral Zhonghe. In the recent past, this relationship has grown in important ways. Kenya is part of the One Belt, One Road initiative, and China is a key partner that is supporting my administration in building strong foundation for accelerated growth. It is this strong partnership that made the historic standard gauge railway a reality in Kenya. Our natural deep-water seaport of Mombasa is now connected to the hinterland by the standard gauge railway, making transportation of produce from production to markets seamless. And we look forward to a continued partnership that facilitates the extension of the SGR to the rest of the East African region. This will make the transportation of goods and services from East Africa to and from China and the world seamless. While Kenya and the rest of Africa welcomes partnership in all areas, we seek to give priority to trade and investment opportunities. We seek to participate in global trade as a means to grow our industry and technological capacity, to create jobs, and to achieve the continental growth ambitions articulated in the African Union Agenda 2063. And I am delighted that Chinese companies are increasingly growing more confident and taking up opportunities that Africa presents. That is the way to go. Indeed, yesterday, Mr. President, I had the occasion to meet representatives from a number of companies that are in the process of setting up in Kenya. One of these, the Guangdong Silktex Group, seeks to start a silk industry in Kenya, right from farming and producing silk to add value and export. This investment will create 300,000 jobs and initiate cocoon farming covering more than 200,000 acres. Such investments offer mutual benefits. They generate jobs, create a value chain, and guarantee favorable returns on investment. Today, China ranks as the #1 trading partner with Kenya, accounting for 17.2% of Kenya's total trade with the world. Between the years 2007 to 2017, total trade between Kenya and China grew more than eightfold, from $471.6 million in 2017 to approximately $4 billion from 471 million in 2007 to US $4 billion in 2017. This trade, however, was heavily skewed in favor of China. It is important for us, therefore, to correct the existing trade imbalance to enable a fairer share of the benefits of trade. And for this reason, Kenya, and indeed Africa, welcome this Expo as an important step towards closing the gap of this imbalance. I am happy to inform you that I am accompanied by a business delegation of more than 100 persons seeking to tap into the opportunities presented by this Expo. We have brought some of Kenya's best products to this Expo, and I invite you all to our pavilion to sample some of our fruits, vegetables, and our world-renowned coffee and tea, as well as some of our crafts. Your Excellency, allow me to share a few suggestions on how I believe we can boost Sino-Africa trade and embrace a win-win framework where the benefits of international trade are shared between China and Africa. Africa needs a reduction or an elimination of tariffs to enable access of our products into your market. We would like to propose an initiative that is designed to give preferential access to Africa goods as a means to stimulate the growth of Africa's export industries, and such an initiative could begin with a few pilot cases. To facilitate increased exports for African agricultural products, China may consider providing technical assistance to sanitary and phytosanitary institutions in Africa to enable these countries comply with Chinese SPS standards and other international requirements. China could also support trade promotion initiatives aimed at exposing African exporters to the Chinese market. This will allow for business networking, enable African countries to showcase and demonstrate the latest products and services, and also enable them to meet with industry partners and customers. And in this context, I am pleased to confirm that my delegation will participate in the International Horticultural Exhibition that will take place in Beijing from the 29th of April to the 7th of October 2019. One of Africa's greatest assets is its biodiversity. A deliberate effort should be made to encourage increased tourism by Chinese nationals to the continent's numerous holiday destinations. Besides leisure, tourism offers opportunity for cultural exchanges between our peoples and will be a tangible quick win that is mutually beneficial for our trading relations. We would like to see more Chinese firms manufacturing in Africa and exporting to the rest of the world, and I'm very pleased to acknowledge and appreciate the more than 200 Chinese companies who already have investments in Kenya. I would like to encourage more firms to establish joint ventures with Kenyan entrepreneurs and to increase the content of locally produced goods and services in their projects and industries. As I conclude, I wish to thank China for its strong and growing support to Kenya. I wish to assure you and all the Chinese people that Kenya is open and safe for business and investment. Kenya has a diversified economy, and there are limitless opportunities to invest and do joint ventures in construction, agriculture, infrastructure, ICT, and financial services. In addition, Kenya has one of the most conducive business environments in Africa. Since 2014, Kenya has leapt from position 136 to position 61 in 2018 out of the 190 countries in the World Bank ranking in the ease of doing business. This constitutes a rise of 75 positions in 4 years. It is an ideal private sector-driven investment destination and a gateway to the rest of Africa. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my sincere hope that this Expo will lead to a significant increase in trade flows between our countries and provide an opportunity for all of us to learn from China's remarkable growth experience. I also hope the business delegates will finalize business deals, sign joint venture agreements, and undertake several other trade collaborations. We look forward to great engagements, great partnership, and increased trade with you all as we seek to meet the aspirations and dreams of our people. I thank you all for your kind attention. Thank you very much.
感谢肯亚塔总统的精彩发言。下面让我们热烈欢迎埃及总理马德布利致辞。
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. فخامة الرئيس شي جين معالي السادة أصحاب الفخامة والسعادة رؤساء الدول والحكومات الحضور الكريم، اسمحوا لي في البداية أن أتقدم بجزيل الشكر لفخامة الرئيس Xi Jinping, رئيس جمهورية الصين الشعبية ولشعب الصين الصديق على مدى السنة من حفاوة الضيافة والاستقبال خلال استضافة مدينة شنغهاي لأعمال تلك الفعالية التجارية المهمة. كما أود أن أتقدم بخالص الشكر والتقدير لحكومة جمهورية الصين الشعبية على توجيه الدعوة لمصر للمشاركة بأعمال هذا المعرض المهم ومنحها صفة إحدى الدول ضيوف الشرف.
This reflects China's commitment to growing business ties with Egypt. Indeed, I'm very grateful for this. Egypt is here for the CIIE because Egypt recognizes the strategic importance of this expo. We believe that it will bring real opportunities for trade and investment cooperation between our two countries. Egypt has placed great importance on this event, and we've been contributing within our bilateral strategic partnership framework. We have done many things to consolidate the achievements we already made in various fields. Egypt is here for the CIIE also as a show of appreciation to China for its commitment to a multilateral trading system and to promoting fair trade among countries. Egypt believes that China is making steady progress toward this goal. Over the past 4 years, our relationship has advanced by leaps and bounds at the bilateral and regional levels. Bilaterally, our relationship has been upgraded to a comprehensive strategic partnership, and this decision was announced during our President's visit to China in December 2014. Regional-wise, Egypt is among the first group of countries to sign bilateral MOUs with the China on Belt and Road cooperation. The Belt and Road is an initiative made by President Xi in 2013. It is designed to promote better connectivity both on land and at sea, connecting Asia, Europe, and Africa. I believe it will be important for economic trade cooperation among countries along the road and for global growth. Business cooperation is a pillar in our bilateral cooperation. China has been Egypt's top trading partner, while Egypt is China's fourth largest trading partner among African countries. In 2017, our two-way trade was nearly $11 billion US. The statistics of our trade mix show a considerable surplus on the Chinese side. This means that our two sides need to work together to promote better balance in our trade. This is also a purpose of Egypt's participation in this expo. In investment, now we have 1,080 Chinese companies in Egypt covering a variety of sectors including industry, telecommunications, the development of economic zones, finance and contract of projects. Driven by our desire for closer investment cooperation within the framework of Belt and Road Initiative and the comprehensive strategic partnership, we have signed an agreement on production capacity cooperation. This is an important mechanism for our investment cooperation because it provides the ways and means for our investment in priority areas. Egypt takes very seriously this mechanism, and we will work with China on the projects already agreed upon within this framework. Bilateral investment cooperation has played an important role in our respective sustainable development. Egypt also stresses the importance of closer investment cooperation with China in the regional terms within the Belt and Road framework, because Egypt is an important node on the maritime Silk Road, and given the strategic importance of the Suez Canal as a logistic hub, we can also contribute to the Belt and Road vision. Excellencies, distinguished guests, over the past 4 years, Egypt has made notable progress in many areas. This should be contributed to the economic development agenda adopted by the Egyptian government and the Egypt 2030 comprehensive strategy. This strategy is designed to create a favorable business climate to attract more investment in different sectors so that industrial development will remain an engine of our economic growth. And in this context, the Egyptian government has taken a host of economic policies and legislative and executive reforms to achieve development. We now have new investment law, license law. We are setting up industrial parks to prioritize the development of certain sectors, including textiles, automobiles, leather, petrochemical, sea shipping, and logistics. We have also drawn up province-specific investment roadmaps and offer policy incentives for investment in priority sectors. And all these policies have already had a major impact, making Egypt a choice destination for foreign direct investment last year. And this is a conclusion of the 2018 Global Investment Index report by the UN Conference on Trade and Development. Ladies and gentlemen, in this connection, I invite the Chinese business community to have closer trade and investment cooperation with Egypt to benefit from our market strengths. This includes the vast spending power and the need in Egypt, the rich natural resources, and competitive labor resources. The unique position of Egypt in connecting Asia, Africa, and Europe, making Egypt an important point for trade in these three continents and beyond. Egypt has signed many trade agreements with various parties. For instance, with the Arab countries, with African countries, with the European Union, with the European Free Trade Association, and with Mercosur. We have also signed protocols on establishing industrial parks, and all these agreements will enable Egyptian products to make their way into households of covering 1.6 billion on favorable terms. Let me stress here that our two business communities are playing an important role in our economic cooperation. Without the participation of our business communities, we cannot realize the vista of cooperation between us. So, in conclusion, I want to stress to the Chinese business community that the Egyptian government is committed to having closer investment and trade cooperation in various areas. We will provide all the necessary support to the Chinese companies and remove all the standing obstacles in trade and investment. I want to invite delegations to our national pavilion. We have presented the proud products of 37 Egyptian companies in textile, medical devices, handicrafts, agricultural products, and food. We also have a sculpture of the National Bank of Egypt. And finally, I want to once again thank the Chinese leader, the government, and people, and for your hospitality and for your wonderful organization. I wish this event great success. Thank you. I wish all the countries represented here continued progress, development, and prosperity. Thank you.
感谢马德布尼总理的精彩发言。下面让我们热烈欢迎匈牙利总理欧尔班致辞。
Distinguished Mr. President, Excellencies, dear colleagues, first of all, I would like to take this opportunity to express my appreciation to President Xi for the invitation extended to Hungary to take part as a guest of honor on the first ever China International Import Expo in this great city of Shanghai. While looking at the precious list of invitees, you can raise the questions how it comes that a small landlocked country from Central Europe is involved in a list full of giants. And the answer is Central Europe. Hungary represents more than herself. When you hear our voice, you hear the voice of our region, a region which has recently become the growth engine of Europe. Economic and social policies in Central European region, representing common sense, have ensured that the countries here were able to preserve their national, political and cultural identity even under the pressure of massive illegal migration, the phenomenon you are surely well aware of. We ended up in a situation that the growth rate of this region is 2 times higher compared to the continental average, and having the trends in mind, it is a matter of a broad consensus that this region will definitely be the source of the future European growth as well. We understand these developments have been realized by China while creating the 16+1 China Central European Cooperation format. 16 countries located in Central Europe, representing quite a considerable grouping, even from the perspective of the giants. We were honored to host the summit last year, and we are committed to remain strong promoters of this platform. These days, the governors of the central banks of the countries involved are gathering in Budapest for the first time ever meeting, while the 16+1 Customs Cooperation Center to simplify and accelerate trade within each other has been under preparation by us as well. Mr. President, Hungary has always been a supporter of the most possibly free and fair global trade network, and we have always been supporters of the Euro-Asian cooperation. That is why we are absolutely interested in the success of the One Belt, One Road initiative, and that is why we were the first European country to sign the bilateral cooperation agreement about its implementation. Our economies are very open. The performance of our national economies is highly determined by the external factors, the flow of capital into our countries, the dynamism of investments carried out by international companies, and the trend of export. Based on this fact, we highly value the presence of Chinese companies in Hungary. We are proud of the fact that the Bank of China located its regional headquarters to Budapest and operates there one of its European RMB clearing centers. Huawei is managing its European distribution activities from Hungary. BYD has established its first European factory in Hungary. Vanhua operates a huge chemical plant, while Johnson Electric, Yangfeng, and Westcast become more and more important players of our automotive industry. These Chinese companies have contributed to achieve basically full employment on the Hungarian labor market and had a significant role in helping our national economy to stay in the 4+% GDP growth rate path on the long term. We are also proud to have the highest export figures from our region to China. The products of our mechanical, pharmaceutical, and food industries gain more and more shares on the Chinese market. Following last year's all-time export record, we have been witnessing another 18% increase in our trade so far this year. Our national pavilion highlights the products and services through which we will be able to maintain this very favorable trend, to which business-to-business agreements on the fields of dairy industry, water management, innovative energy production, and machinery to be signed tomorrow will definitely contribute. Dear Mr. President, to conclude, I would like to underline that you can count on our region's support when it comes to your initiatives to promote free and fair international trade, when it comes to enhancing Euro-Asian cooperation under the framework of One Belt, One Road initiative, and when it comes to pay more attention to Central Europe. Thank you, Excellencies and dear colleagues, for your kind attention.
Thank you, Prime Minister Orban. And now let's welcome Prime Minister Imran Khan of Pakistan.
Excellency, President Xi Jinping, esteemed guests of honor, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure today to lead the Pakistani delegation at the first China International Import Expo. I especially want to thank the President, the Chinese government, for the great hospitality accorded to me and my delegation. As the Belt and Road Initiative gives shape to a global community of shared interests, this expo will help spread dividends of freer trade amongst more closely integrated economies. In Pakistan, the Karakoram Highway merges into a network of modern highways that are part of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. These take you to the deep sea port of Gwadar, the point where the belt and road converge, and this impacts not only Pakistan, but has an impact on all the economies of the entire region. CPEC shall cut distances and costs, bringing much-needed resources to producers and new products to consumers. CPEC is a mechanism to forge even closer connectivity between the Middle East and China and between Central and South Asia. It is opening fresh investment avenues, new markets, new vistas. My party, the Tehreek-e-Insaf, or PTI, campaigned during the last election for change. And now, since we've been in power, we are initiating deep and meaningful reforms impacting all sectors and every aspect of governance. We are committed to improving our frameworks of transparency and accountability, leveraging technology for seamless, smart solutions for business and governance. We in Pakistan are blessed with an abundant array of resources ranging from minerals to fertile land to wealth of renewables and the most diverse landscape with 12 climatic zones. Our industry is already producing high-end textiles, sports goods, engineering goods, IT services, and medical technologies, including surgical instruments. But by far, our greatest and most promising resource is human. We have 100 million Pakistanis below the age of 35, a young, vibrant population. And the Naya or New Pakistan will be more conducive and more competitive place for transacting business. At a time when the international trade system is under attack, when unilateral commercial benefits are being sought aggressively by some, when protectionism is on the rise, we take great comfort in President Xi's courageous statement, and I quote, "The doors of China's opening up will never shut, but will only open ever wider." Thank you.
感谢伊姆兰汗总理的精彩发言。下面让我们热烈欢迎俄罗斯总理梅德韦杰夫致辞。
Your Excellency, President Xi Jinping, heads of states and governments, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends. On behalf of the Russian Federation, I would like to welcome all those gathered here at the opening ceremony of the first China International Import Expo. This is truly a major event. The representatives of 130 countries have come to Shanghai in order to showcase their economic opportunities and to discuss the prospects of international trade. And we should discuss them indeed. Today we are facing common challenges to find new sources of growth for the global economy, to form an open space of mutually beneficial cooperation with no place for either pressure or sanctions, or protectionism, or any sort of limitations. Unfortunately, this is the reality of the modern day, of the modern economy, and we cannot turn a blind eye towards it. The principles of free and fair competition should be the basis of international trade relationships, as well as the principle of the free movement of goods and services. And the President of China just mentioned that in his speech. This is the approach that Russia and the People's Republic of China hold, and China is one of our most important partners. We appreciate that our Chinese colleagues seek to build long-term partnership and create long-term trade relations, which will be of benefit to all the stakeholders. In recent years, China has become not only a global producer of industrial goods, but also a giant market for the end products produced. It's important to work on this market for any international company. We indeed are grateful to China for inviting Russia to take part in this representative forum in the honorary status of a partner country. This expo in Shanghai is a great opportunity to showcase the potential of the Russian economy. In the coming years, we plan to double the volume of non-commodities and non-energy exports up to $250 billion. Primarily, I mean agricultural products, machine building, and other areas of industry. This goal is now a national development priority, and major resources have been earmarked to this end. Today, several dozens of Russian companies present their products here, and we have tried to make our exhibition as informative as possible. It consists of 5 thematic sections: food and agriculture, medical equipment and healthcare, consumer goods, high-tech equipment, and services. We will also present major international projects. The representatives of 40 regions of Russia take part in the expo. This is almost half of our country. They will talk in detail about the industrial and investment projects, which could be of interest not only to our Chinese partners, but to all our foreign partners. The regions of our countries are more actively collaborating with each other, and the year 2018 and the next year have been announced as the years of interregional exchanges between Russia and China. Our interstate relationships are as strong as ever. They do not depend on the economic or political situation. They are based on mutual respect and interests of our countries. This creates the proper basis for the development and broadening of our ties, as well as any payments in national currencies. I believe that it is proper to boost the volume of mutual credits in yuans and in rubles, and I'm talking about those loans which are allocated for investment projects. This allows us to strengthen the stability of the Russian-Chinese trade in the conditions when a number of reserve currencies becomes a less reliable instrument for international trade, and we are moving towards that. The Russian National Bank and the Bank of Development of China have signed a framework agreement in June, and we are now increasing the number of resources, and the Russian Expo Center plays a major role in that. And over the course of the Expo, they are going to open their office in Shanghai, and their experts are going to help find the necessary Russian goods and provide consultations on financial support measures. Another prospect area of our cooperation is tourism, and we see an increased interest on the part of Russia to Chinese culture, and on the other hand, the citizens of China are visiting Russia as well. And the World Cup, which was recently held in Russia, showed the beauty and hospitality of the Russian people to our foreign guests. Ladies and gentlemen, we will continue to develop our cooperation with China consistently, as well as with our partners around the globe. I am convinced that this first China International Import-Export will provide a major boost for the development of business, as well as for the prosperity of our people. And Chinese saying goes, a man grows most tired when he is standing still, but we are in no danger. So I wish us every success in our work. Thank you for your attention.
感谢梅德韦杰夫总理的精彩发言。下面让我们热烈欢迎越南总理阮聪福致辞。
Chủ tịch nước Cộng hòa Nhân dân Trung Hoa Tập Cận Bình, thưa quý vị lãnh đạo nhà nước, lãnh đạo chính phủ và tất cả quý vị khách quý có mặt hôm nay. Thay mặt chính phủ Việt Nam, tôi vui mừng tham dự hội nghị hội chợ nhập khẩu quốc tế của Trung Quốc lần thứ nhất tại thành phố Thượng Hải, tươi đẹp và năng động. Một trong những thành phố đi đầu về cải cách ngoại ngữ của Trung Quốc, một trung tâm thương mại lớn của thế giới. Tôi và đoàn đại biểu chính phủ cùng các doanh nghiệp của Việt Nam trân trọng cảm ơn ngài Chủ tịch.
On behalf of the Vietnamese government and businesses, we'd like to express our sincere gratitude to Your Excellency President Xi Jinping and the organizers for your hospitable reception and excellent arrangements. And ladies and gentlemen, the global economy is maintaining its growth momentum. The fourth industrial revolution is spreading rapidly to every country, business, and citizen, giving rise to many opportunities for cooperation as well as new challenges. However, we are also witnessing an ongoing complicated trade dispute. This requires all parties to engage in dialogue and confidence building, adhere to international law, and forge cooperation on the basis of equality. And over the past 4 decades, China has pursued its open door reforms and attained phenomenal achievements in socio-economic development and made important contributions to global economic growth. China has also actively proposed and implemented a wide range of cooperation initiatives to advance economic linkages and regional connectivity and to address challenges in regional and global economic growth.
Đã trở thành nền kinh tế lớn thứ hai trên thế giới.
China has become the second largest economy in the world right now with strong growth momentums. We appreciate very highly the organization of the first China International Import Expo, which embodies the philosophy of win-win and mutually beneficial cooperation, promotes economic and trade cooperation, and is a strong driver for regional and global economic growth.
Thưa tất cả quý vị,
Ladies and
tục ngữ
gentlemen,
Việt Nam có câu một cây làm chẳng nên non, 3 cây chùm lại, nên hòn núi cao. Tôi ngụ ý nêu cao tinh thần đoàn kết, tương trợ lẫn nhau là ngọn nguồn của sức mạnh. Trung Quốc cũng có thành ngữ, một cây không làm nên cánh rừng. Với ý nghĩa tương tự, trong bối cảnh toàn cầu hóa hiện nay,
In
một quốc
the
gia
current
khó có
context
thể
of
tự mình phát
globalization
triển
and international
nếu không mở cửa
integration,
hội nhập
no one
liên kết
country is
để
able to
cùng
grow
nhau
on its
tạo
own
nên những ngọn núi
without
cao, những cánh đồng, những
participating
cánh rừng
in the
lớn
integration
của phát triển
process
như phát
aimed
biểu của
towards
Chủ
common
tịch nước Tập
developmental
Cận Bình
value
vừa qua.
of mankind.
Là láng giềng hữu nghị thân
And
thiết,
as a
Việt
close
Nam luôn coi trọng đoàn kết,
and friendly
phát triển
neighbor,
các quan hệ hợp tác,
we
ổn
always
định,
prioritize
mong muốn cùng Trung
strong
Quốc thúc
and
đẩy
close
kinh tế, thương
relationship
mại,
with China,
phát triển bền vững,
make
cùng
sure
có
that
lợi.
we have sustainable and
Chúng tôi
mutually
ủng
beneficial
hộ
relations
hệ
with
thống
China.
thương mại đa phương,
We support
mở,
an
công bằng,
open,
minh bạch,
fair,
bao trùm và dựa
transparent,
trên luật lệ với WTO là nền tảng,
inclusive,
ủng hộ tự do hóa thương
world
mại
trading
và đầu
system
tư,
with the
tạo môi trường
WTO
kinh doanh
as
thuận
its
lợi,
bedrock. We
đóng góp
support
tích cực
trade and
cho hòa
investment,
bình, hợp tác
liberalization and
và phát
facilitation,
triển.
and the creation of conducive business
Sau 30
environment
năm đổi mới,
that
mở cửa và
particularly
chủ động hội
supports
nhập quốc tế,
SMEs.
Việt
And
Nam
after 30
đạt tốc
years
độ
of
tăng trưởng
reform,
GDP bình quân trên
Vietnam has
6,5%
achieved
và từ năm
an
2010,
average
Việt
GDP
Nam đã
growth
trở
of
thành
about
nước đang phát triển
6.5%
có thu
and
nhập trung
have
bình.
become a
Vị
middle
thế của uy tín
income
quốc tế
developing
không ngừng
country,
được nâng cao.
and our international prestige
Đặc
is
biệt trong 3
growing
năm
as
qua,
well.
Việt Nam
And
là
over
một
the past 3
trong
years,
nền kinh tế có mức tăng
Vietnam
trưởng nhanh
has
ở khu
been
vực
one of the three
và thế giới,
fastest growing
với
economies
quy
in the
mô
world,
GDP tăng gấp
with
1,3 lần.
GDP
Năm
growing about
2018 dự
1.3
kiến
times,
GDP tăng
and
gần 7%.
this year our GDP is expected to
Việt
grow
Nam
at nearly
có dân số
7%.
85% dân số là dưới 35 tuổi,
About
là lực lượng lao
85%
động
of our
trẻ,
population right
năng
now
động,
is under
được
the
đào
age
tạo.
of 35. They're
Đời
skilled,
sống của
trained,
gần 100 triệu dân
dynamic,
được
and
cải
the
thiện.
livelihood of our nearly
Thu nhập
100
bình quân
million
đầu người
people is
năm
constantly
2018
improving.
ước đạt
Per capita income in 2018
$2.540, tính theo sức mua tương đương là $7.640,
is expected
tạo
to
nên một
be
thị trường
about
có sức mua tăng rất nhanh.
for $2,040,
Sau hơn 10
and
năm gia
on
nhập
PEP
WTO,
basis is nearly
xếp hạng của Việt Nam về môi trường
$6,900
đầu tư kinh
US.
doanh,
And Vietnam's
năng lực cạnh tranh,
rankings in
đổi mới
business
sáng
and
tạo
investment
đã
environment,
được cải thiện mạnh
competitiveness
mẽ.
and innovation
Quy mô
have
xuất
also
nhập
been
khẩu
greatly
tăng
improved
trưởng
as
vượt bậc.
well.
Năm 2018 ước
The
đạt
size of
500
our
tỷ đô la
trade
và nằm
has
trong
also
nhóm
expanded
30 quốc gia
tremendously.
vùng
In
lãnh thổ
2018,
có kim
we
ngạch thương
expect
mại
it to be
lớn nhất
about
thế giới.
$500 billion US,
Việt Nam đã
and
ký
making us one
tham
of the
gia
top
đàm
30
phán
countries and territories
16
in
hiệp định FTA
terms of
để
trade
mở
turnover.
rộng quan hệ thương mại
And we have
tự
currently
do
signed
với gần
or
60
are
quốc
in the
gia,
process of
trong đó có 15 nước
negotiation of
thuộc
about
G20.
16 FTAs.
Hiện có
15 of our
27.000
partners are
doanh
members
nghiệp
of the
FTA
G20,
từ 130 quốc gia,
and
đối tác với vốn cam
with
kết
representatives
trên
from over 130
337 tỷ đô la
countries.
Mỹ đang đầu tư kinh doanh tại Việt
Here,
Nam.
today, we'd like to also share that there's about 130
Trung Quốc và Việt Nam
countries
núi liền
investing
núi,
in
sông liền sông.
Vietnam with total investment capital of about
Trung Quốc là
$337
cường quốc
billion
trên thế giới,
US.
là đối tác thương
China
mại
is a
lớn
major
nhất của Việt
country
Nam.
in the
Đồng
world.
thời,
It is our largest
Việt Nam
trading
là đối tác
partner,
thương mại lớn
and
thứ 8 của Trung
Vietnam
Quốc
is the 8th
và đứng số 1
largest
về thương
trading
mại
partner for
trong các nước ASEAN.
China,
với Trung
and
Quốc.
we are the largest trading partner
Tại
for
hội chợ
China
nhập khẩu
within
quốc tế Trung
ASEAN.
Quốc lần này,
And at this
nhiều doanh
CIIE,
nghiệp tiêu biểu
many
của
of
Việt Nam
our
tham
outstanding
gia giới thiệu các sản
businesses
phẩm nông sản, thủy sản, thực phẩm chế biến,
are
hàng điện tử,
introducing their
điện tử,
products
tiêu dùng, vân vân.
in terms of
Tôi mong
agriculture,
rằng
in
qua hội chợ này,
aquafishery, in
doanh
electronics
nghiệp
to
các nước
other partners.
sẽ hiểu nhiều
And
hơn
we hope that
về sản
through
phẩm,
this
những tiềm
expo,
năng phát triển của
our
Việt
partners
Nam
will understand more
cùng
about our
thúc đẩy
businesses,
hợp tác
our
thương mại
potentials,
cân
our
bằng,
products
bền vững,
for
cùng có lợi.
transparent, more
Chính phủ Việt Nam
fair,
cam kết
equitable
tạo môi trường
trade between us and
kinh
our
doanh thuận
partners.
lợi,
We pledge to create
đáp ứng
a
các chuẩn mực quốc tế tiên
facilitative
tiến
and fair
và các
business and
tiêu chuẩn
investment
cao
environment,
trong cái hiệp định
one
FTA
that can
thế hệ
live
mới
up to advanced international
Việt Nam
norms and
tham
high
gia.
standards of the new generation
Chúng tôi
FTAs that Vietnam
chào đón các bạn
is a
và hoan nghênh
member.
các bạn
We
hợp tác
encourage
phát triển
and
thành
welcome
công tại Việt Nam.
your successes
Xin chúc
and
hội chợ
successful
thành công,
business
tốt đẹp.
operations in Vietnam.
Xin trân trọng cảm
May
ơn.
the expo be a great success. Thank you for your attention.
感谢阮春副总理的
Thank you, Prime Minister Wen Kuan-fu. I now recognize Director General Azevedo of the World Trade Organization.
Mr. President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to be with you here today and to help launch the China International Import Expo. And at the outset, I would like to thank President Xi for his leadership in organizing this event, and more broadly for his vocal support of multilateral institutions and their importance in the global economy. This first China International Import Expo sends a clear message about China's growing role in global trade. And this is particularly notable as we mark the 40th anniversary of China's first steps on the journey to reform and opening up. And that journey led China to become a member of the WTO and to China's strong commitment to our work today. The country is now increasingly active in the WTO in many ways, including helping other developing and least developed countries to join and benefit from the trading system through a number of support programs in the WTO. And this commitment and engagement is very welcome. And I think the Expo also sends another very important and welcome message, and that is about the importance of imports. It reminds us of the essential truth that trade is not a zero-sum game, where exports are good and imports are bad. In fact, imports mean greater choice for consumers at lower prices. They mean you can focus on producing those goods where you have a competitive advantage. And they mean having a more competitive and more efficient economy. And increasingly, imports mean inputs for your own products, which will themselves then be exported. This is the reality of global trade today. Around 2/3 of all exports around the world contain imported components. And it is precisely this greater openness and economic integration which has helped to fuel growth, job creation, and development in the modern world. It has lifted hundreds of millions out of poverty and created prosperity for many more. And continuing this process is in everyone's interest. This is why the World Trade Organization is so important. The organization provides the framework of rules and practices that underpin 98% of global trade today. It provides the very foundations on which greater economic openness and integration are built. We must work together now to strengthen those foundations, and this means working to fight protectionism and to ease the tensions that we are seeing in global trade relations. And it means ensuring that the trading system is ready to meet the challenges of today and tomorrow, including responding to the fourth industrial revolution. And I look forward to China's continued support in those efforts and your continued support and commitment to trade liberalization and the multilateral trading system. Working together, we can ensure that we play our full part in creating global prosperity and the brighter economic future that we all want to see. Thank you.
Thank
you, Director General Azevedo. I now recognize Managing Director Christine Lagarde of the IMF.
President Xi, heads of state and government, honored guests, friends, colleagues, business community, good morning. Zhao Chuanho. Last night, when just like so many of you, I crossed the beautiful Wapong River on Lupu Bridge, I was reminded of the talent of China to build bridges. Let me mention 3 of them. Bridge number 1. 40 years ago, China started to build its bridge to the world by opening its economy and kick-starting reforms that have changed the lives and prospects of hundreds of millions of people here, but also beyond China. By transforming itself through trade, through hard work, also learning from others, China has helped transform not only itself, but also the global economy. Progress in this country has played a significant role in boosting productivity, boosting innovation, President, as you said, and living standards in countries around the world. Yes, there is always more work to be done, because on that bridge, you don't want traffic jam, you don't want bottleneck, and you don't want restricted traffic. So yes, there is room for even greater reform in the domestic market of China, which can help strengthen the global trade system. And there is scope for further reform that will help unleash the full potential of so many private sector firms. Bridge number 2. China is building a bridge to prosperity by rebalancing its economy towards consumption-led growth as opposed to export and investment-led growth. Building that bridge is well underway. In the first 3/4 of this year only, consumption contributed 78% of China's GDP growth, as opposed to 50% only 5 years ago. This transition, which is symbolized by the China International Import Expo, is good for China, but it is good for the world, including all those who see China as a vital and vibrant market for their goods and for their services. Again, we can see the progress and rebalancing in the numbers. For example, China's current account is likely to be at just about 1% this year, compared with 10% 10 years ago. Bridge number 3. China is building a bridge to the future by harnessing the power of international cooperation, especially in trade. On behalf of the International Monetary Fund, I have called all parties to de-escalate and resolve the current trade disputes and to fix the global trade system, not destroy it. To achieve these goals, we need more international cooperation, not less. And that goes well beyond the economics. I want to quote here one of our French philosophers, Montesquieu, who said, "Wherever there is good citizenship, there is trade. Wherever there is trade, there is good citizenship." So in other words, trade has the capacity to boost innovation, to encourage prosperity, but also peace within countries and between nations. So in Shanghai, the city of 12 bridges, I will only mention 3, but this is where we need to start this cooperation towards more peace and a more prosperous future. Thank you.
感谢拉加德女士的精彩发言。下面，让我们热烈欢迎世界银行行长金庸致辞。
Thank you so much. President Xi, heads of state and government, Your Royal Highness, and honored guests. It's a great honor for me to be here at the China International Import Expo. And I was here earlier in the week to celebrate with Chinese authorities the 40th anniversary of China's opening up. And we talked about the great achievements of China in that period. The per capita income increased 25-fold. More than 800 million people lifted themselves out of poverty. That's 70% of all the people in the world who were lifted out of poverty in that period. And I was also here to celebrate the evidence of China's continued commitment to reform. And I want to congratulate President Xi and the entire Chinese government, especially the mayors of Shanghai and Beijing. China went up 32 places this year on our Doing Business Index. You know, we know that the pro-poor impact of trade liberalization in developing countries is clear. But in recent years, trade liberalization has stalled. And in just the last few years, we've seen the acceleration of the return to protectionism. The escalation of tariffs will negatively affect the entire global growth outlook and slow down the pace of poverty reduction at a time when we can least afford it. A reversal of trade openness would hurt many poor households in both developing and developed countries. And protectionist trade policies can cause a chain reaction as more countries adopt similar measures. The global recovery is built on investment, and there's a real danger that businesses will decide to wait for more clarity before engaging in new projects. Recent World Bank analysis shows that in a scenario where investor confidence is shaken and investments drop, every country will feel the negative effects. We need to continue to support trade reforms that can deliver greater shared prosperity. That includes removing trade barriers in areas such as services, agriculture, and e-commerce, and reducing subsidies and other measures that distort trade. The overall aim is to strengthen, as so many have said, the multilateral trading system. China has done this in the past, and the country is committed to continuing its policy of opening up in the future. And this has not been without domestic pain. China's entry into the WTO in 2001 caused significant hardship among workers of state enterprises that were no longer competitive and farmers that faced lower world market prices. But China persisted with opening up and helped those affected with better safety nets, active labor market policies, and lower agricultural taxes and fees. By ensuring that all layers of society gained from opening up, China ensured continued support for the reform program. This is a lesson for everyone. Within countries, policy packages should ensure that trade gains are shared widely. Trade contributes to creating jobs overall, but many people in entire regions can be left behind. With trade, we don't have to choose between inclusiveness and economic growth. When we're working to boost and invigorate trade, those workers and those communities that aren't benefiting from globalization need to be at the front of our minds. Part of this is because the debate about embracing market forces is over. In his speech at Davos in 2017, President Xi talked about another kind of ocean other than the one he described today, the ocean that is China. And he said, and I quote this all the time, "Whether you like it or not, the global economy is the big ocean that you cannot escape from. Any attempt to cut off the flow of capital, technology, products, industries, and people between economies and channel the waters in the ocean back into isolated lakes and creeks is simply not possible." For us, the challenge is to put every country in a position where it can swim in this ocean, where its people have the human capital to compete, and countries have the institutions that make their economies resilient, competitive, and caring. For the international community here today, I just want to recount briefly a trip that I made just over the last 2 days. I visited Guizhou, and I was specifically taken to Guizhou by the Ministry of Finance because it's one of the poorest provinces in China. Just 5 years ago, the poverty rate was 30%. This year, the poverty rate is 8%, and it went from 30 to 8% through e-commerce. It is a Taobao village. And the development of e-commerce meant that the farmers in Guizhou could now sell kiwi, spicy chicken, and their products all over the world. So increasing access to global markets, increasing access to capital, led to a drop in poverty from 30% to 8%. I was so impressed by that model, I thought, we have to try this, and I spoke with President Kenyatta just yesterday. There are models here of moving from poverty to a new kind of economic activity through trade that will lift people out of poverty. You know, I hope that the discussions at this milestone China International Import-Export will bring new ideas and avenues, just like the ones we saw in Guizhou, to make the global market system work for everyone and the planet, help end extreme poverty, and ensure equality of opportunity for everyone in the world. Thank you very much.
感谢金庸先生的精彩发言。刚才7位国家元首和政府首脑，3位国际组织负责人做了精彩的发言，就维护经济全球化、加强互利合作、实现共赢发展，发表了很多真知灼见。只要我们秉持合作共赢的精神，坚持推动构建人类命运共同体，世界一定会变得更加美好。接下来，请习近平主席以外。